Hey everyone! Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into something literally right over our heads, but that we almost never think about: home infrastructure survival. Specifically, we are going to examine the actual roof over your head and how it battles some pretty extreme environmental conditions. To really wrap our heads around this, we're looking at a localized case study of Gastonia, North Carolina, right in the heart of the Piedmont region. The weather patterns down there are incredibly aggressive, and honestly, seeing how local experts engineer solutions to protect these properties is just genuinely fascinating.
Okay, let's dive into this. 70%, that is the average summer humidity in Gastonia. And it's not just, uncomfortable for us. It is an absolute, immediate environmental threat to a home's first line of defense. This kind of heavy, persistent moisture actively works to break down roofing materials from the outside in and, as we'll see in a minute, from the inside out. The stakes for your property are incredibly high when you're dealing with this constant level of environmental stress.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the Piedmont Climate Challenge, then look at common local roofing failures, weigh metal versus asphalt shingles, break down understanding roofing costs, and wrap up with the professional installation process. All right, Section 1, the Piedmont Climate Challenge, man versus nature in Gastonia. If you want to stress test a house, this region is absolutely perfect. Think about it. In the winter, you've got nights dropping down to a freezing 20 degrees, right? But then the afternoon sun beats down and suddenly it's 50 degrees. That drastic 30-degree temperature swing, it forces building materials to rapidly contract and expand day after day. Then, spring rolls in with severe thunderstorms sweeping off the Blue Ridge Mountains, bringing high winds and hail that test the absolute physical limits of those shingles. And finally, summer hits with that intense heat and 70% humidity we just talked about, basically baking the roof under UV rays while soaking it in moisture. It's a relentless, year-round assault. Which brings us to Section 2, common local roofing failures, the anatomy of roof damage.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how the climate systematically dismantles a roof. It's like a chain reaction. That 30-degree winter freeze-thaw cycle literally cracks the metal flashing. Those are the vital seals around your chimneys and vents, which directly results in hidden leaks inside your walls. Then during the summer, the heat and humidity literally bake the shingle adhesive until it fails, while feeding algae growth that eats away at the materials. That leads to premature roof failure. Add in spring thunderstorms tearing off shingles, which exposes the underlying wooden boards or decking to rain, causing them to rot. And here's a super interesting localized factor. The heavy clay soil in the Piedmont settles over time. This shifts the entire foundation of the house, which pulls on the roof lines and creates massive structural stress.
Now, I really need to emphasize this next point because, honestly, it's the invisible killer of roofs: attic ventilation. It isn't just about keeping your upstairs cool. Without a strategic system of air intake and exhaust, high humidity and heat get completely trapped inside your attic. This creates a really dangerous oven effect. It actually heats the roof decking to the point where it bakes the shingle adhesive right off the roof, entirely from the inside out. In a humid climate like Gastonia, poor ventilation will completely ruin a brand new roof, and it'll void the manufacturer's warranty right along with it.
Let's look at Section 3, metal versus asphalt shingles, choosing your armor.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the trade-offs between the two main contenders. Asphalt shingles offer much better upfront affordability, which is great for the immediate budget. You get a solid 20 to 30-year lifespan, they're definitely easier to repair, and they match the aesthetic of older historic neighborhoods. However, since they are petroleum-based, their prices fluctuate directly with the oil market. Metal roofing, on the other hand, that requires a significantly higher initial investment, but the return is a massive 40 to 70-year lifespan. Plus, metal actively reflects that intense Piedmont summer heat and is highly resistant to wind and hail damage. It's the classic battle of short-term affordability versus long-term durability.
Moving on to Section 4, understanding roofing cost, the true economics of replacement.
So, when you get a roofing estimate and your jaw drops, what are you actually paying for? The absolute largest share of the cost is labor. Tearing off tons of old shingles, safely disposing of them, and paying skilled workers to properly install a new system is incredibly labor-intensive. Second is a huge hidden factor: unforeseen decking repair. You simply will not know the extent of the rotted wood underneath until those old shingles actually come off. Next is flashing replacement. Skipping new seals around your chimney to save a few bucks is pretty much how you guarantee a leak later on. And finally, as we noted, material costs just fluctuate wildly based on global petroleum markets.
But here is a number that really forces the issue for homeowners: 20. This is the hidden ticking clock of your insurance coverage. Most North Carolina insurance carriers will simply drop your coverage or outright deny a full replacement claim on any roof older than 20 years. Some even set the cutoff at 15 years. If you try to wait for prices to drop while your roof ages past that 20-year mark, you might find yourself entirely uninsurable when the next major thunderstorm rolls through.
Let's look at the solution in Section 5, the professional installation process, the expert playbook.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the specific 3-step methodology used by local pros. It starts with Step 1, a rigorous inspection. This means getting up on the roof, taking detailed photos, and giving honest recommendations. No high-pressure sales, just clear transparency on what needs repairing versus replacing. Step 2 is the actual installation. And this isn't just slapping down new shingles. It's completely stripping the old materials, fixing that hidden rotted decking we talked about, and applying underlayment, the crucial waterproof barrier that meets strict manufacturer and local building codes. Finally, Step 3, final inspection and warranty. This includes a meticulous cleanup using magnetic sweepers to catch stray nails in your lawn, a final walkthrough, and issuing both material and warranty warranties.
It's pretty amazing when you think about the actual engineering, weather science, and raw economics sitting right on top of your house. It really makes you look at your own home a bit differently, doesn't it? So, I'll leave you with this to think about. Is your roof's 20-year clock ticking towards an insurance denial? Or is your home's armor fully ready for the next storm? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and we'll see you next time.